Okay, so from what I remember, turn that on, pull the ignition in, wash, and we are away.
Down in the dirt.
Ooh, this thing has some power. So here we go, folks. 2022 Harley Davidson 117 Street Glide ST. Now, this one is a little bit special because it's got the addition of some Ohlins fitted by Guildford Harley Davidson. So they've been asked if I'd like to take her out, and of course I would. I'll tell you what, the grunt this thing has. Ooh, this thing has got 168 Newton meters of torque. It's not massive HP figures, I think it's like 108 or something like that. This is over a 1900cc engine on the 117, but it's the torque. The torque, I think, is what this thing's party trick is. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? So I have chucked on a random route on Cali Moto. Yes, I know the new update is pretty horrendous. Hopefully by the time you watch this video they may have sorted it, but they've been having some teething problems. Doing a random route, it's going to be out for about 140 odd miles I think today, so let's see. Seating position feels a little bit sort of strained for me at the moment, just because my body's not used to it. You know, your feet are right out to the front. I've got a pair of jeans on, some roadskin riding jeans, which are a little bit snug round the thigh, I've got to say. I hate the fashion at the moment. Let me shut my visor. I hate the fashion at the moment for like skinny jeans, skin tight jeans. I can't stand them. I've got big legs anyway, got big thighs, big calves. So normal trousers are like skinny jeans on me. I always go for the baggy fit trousers because I like room in my legs. These are very tight round the thighs. They're better than others that I've tried, but they're very tight, particularly around the calves. So sitting like this is crushing the crown jewels, to be perfectly honest. I mean, my derby won't help, but you know, let's get back to the bike. Yeah, the riding position feels a little bit alien to me. Sort of hunched back, dropped back quite low, but that is the standard sort of cruisery style, isn't it? That punch is lovely, I do like that. Now keep in mind I have the camera sat there, so the view out the front is actually pretty damn good. You've got a lot of real estate in front of you here. The mirrors are actually really good as well, got good vision behind. Fully adjustable. This thing comes with a full entertainment system. I could have the radio playing or songs playing linked up to my phone, but obviously I'd get copyright struck, so I can't do that. I can't show you that on camera, but it does work. It's lovely. Speaking of the app, whatever the Harley sort of entertainment app is, you can connect that to your phone. You can have like turn-by-turn navigation on the display there. I think it is an extra for the app sort of package. But it's a lovely big screen you've got there. There are no riding modes on this. Just what you see is what you get. You can turn traction control on and off. It's got cruise control, standard Harley setup with indicators. Left indicators on the left, right is on the right. Now bearing in mind this thing weighs the same as a truck, I think it's something like 350k, 360k. Oodles of power for the road. Overtakes are no problem whatsoever. Brakes feel good. Your gear changing, it's traditional Harley, it's quite clunky. You know, it's very mechanical. These bikes feel like they're alive, you know, they feel like they're living, breathing things. The second you push that starter button, it's just bum, 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 kicks in. The whole bike shakes. They're very vibey bikes. But I actually, genuinely like them. Normally feel a little bit uncomfortable for sort of the first half hour or so, till my body gets used to this. There we go, we're getting up to nationals now. Till my body gets used to this sort of seating position again. But bearing in mind, there's no big screen there, but I'm sat at 55, 60 miles an hour, and I'm feeling no wind turbulence around the lid. Give you some idea, those of you new to the channel, I'm 6'3", 20 stone, 20 and a half stone-ish. So what's that, about 280 pounds, 285 pounds, something like that, I think, for you Americans. But yeah, I'm cocooned here in the cockpit. It's lovely, feels great. This thing has loads of power, loads. It's not sports bike performance, you're not expecting that. The note off the engine through the pipe there is gorgeous. Stock exhaust, and it still sounds lovely. The corner's lovely actually. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall in, doesn't feel like it's fighting you as you want to turn around the corner. Just does it. It feels good. Yeah, it feels lovely. Very planted. See if we get the floorboards down at some point. Worried about that 360 camera actually. Might end up scraping that on the road. It's good, I haven't got a negative about it yet. I've got to say it's not set my soul on fire. You remember when I rode the Fat Boy, I really loved that. I really loved that bike. This hasn't grabbed me like that yet, but it's not, I don't want to get off it, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying it, but it's just not tickling the danglies yet. We'll see. Massive thanks to Mike again over at Guildford Harley for sorting this out. Top man Mike. I know a few of you folks, you've headed to Guildford to speak with Mike and you've bought some Harleys off him, so thank you very much for that. I tell you, the ride feels very plush. I haven't adjusted the Ohlins at all, I've left them as they were. I think they were just sort of set mid-range, and yeah, this feels great. I know sometimes with Harleys they can be quite jarring or soft, you know, they can be polar opposites in the suspension. This feels lush, very nice. Oh, there we go folks, we're in 4th gear, 40 miles an hour, nationals. Let's see if we can have a little bit of free road in front of us. It's a fairly bumpy road, but the ride feels nice. Look at this, we get into the straightest bit of road there is. It's lovely out here though, isn't it? I love this time of year. Just in the spring, everything's lush green again. Straight over. Oh yes, you've got to love that note on a Harley. See now that starts to stir the loins a little bit. Once you get that engine growling a wee bit. Yes, now I'm coming alive. Oh yes, those indicators cancel nice and quick as well. I don't like indicators when they stay on flashing for too long. Yeah, this is nice. I'm starting to get into this. Could do with less traffic, right enough. So we're doing a right at the roundabout. So in 3rd, where are you going? Brakes. Cool. So, planned a couple of roundabouts now in. What are we thinking manoeuvrability wise? Well, I'll tell you in just a sec, because I've got another 2 to come. Do you know what? There is quite a bit of ground clearance there. I was expecting to scrape the floorboards, but no, not yet. Wow. Well, I fully anticipated. I genuinely thought I'd scrape the floorboards there, and I didn't. I need to man up a bit. Alright, so there's a lot of ground clearance here. Much more than you'd expect. Nationals! which we're already at, sorry. Oh, this engine just feels like it's strolling down the promenade, which it is, I suppose. Surprisingly smooth. This is nice. A little bit more turbulence around my lids, but again, nothing drastic. There's probably more on the tractor, to be honest. Those brakes feel nice. This is a nice experience, folks. I am actually enjoying it now. It's good. Look at that tiny little screen that it has. If I just hunker down a wee bit, it's fine. No dramas at all. 1/4, 1/3. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of 272 action. That's good. I'm enjoying this so far. Right, well, I've got to admit this, folks. I'm going to have to do this bit of road again. I forgot to hit stop when I stopped, so when I hit record thinking I wanted to start recording, I actually stopped it. My fault. But anyway, it just means we have to do this awesome bit of road again. This bike, I don't know how it does what it does, but I mean, we are at national speeds on this lovely twisty road, which I've been down on a variety of bikes, and this feels right up there amongst some of the most planted bikes going. Oh, come on, Audi. This is a gorgeous bit of road. Get out of the way. It corners beautifully, this bike. Beautifully. That Ohlins rear shocks, well, the two shocks at the back there, they have made a world of a difference. They really have. That's a very, very, almost like a non-event of a ride in the sense of the previous one with the stock shock. You know, it would shake and jar your spine. If you watch my earlier review vids of it from a couple of years ago, you can hear it in my voice. You know, where the shot are all the time. You can hear my voice being, my body being jarred. This, with the Ohlins, you just don't get that. It's beautiful. A lot of the time with big, powerful, heavy bikes as well, as you come out of corners or as you power in and round corners, the bike can start to feel a little bit unsettled, a bit wallopy. This doesn't at all. It really is a lovely, lovely ride. That's built for these kind of roads, you know, these nice big flowing A roads. I've done some of the B roads, and it still does it, but I'm very conscious that this is such a big machine. I'm sort of reticent to get the power down, really, and corner into the twists and turns on the B roads, just because they're a little bit narrower, and if there's something coming the other way, this is a hell of a machine to try and stop. You know, stop in times. 360 odd kilograms. Having said all that, it will handle the twists and the turns, no problem. It's crazy. It's almost like Goldwing-esque. It just feels like it's stuck to the road and it's just going to pivot on those tyres. You know, you can just lay it on its ear however you like. Right, let's get into the nice section in a second. These are all a bit non-eventful, these, aren't they? Okay, check mirrors, nothing behind, and brakes. Those brakes are lovely. Dual discs. They look like Harley's own. I don't believe they're Brembo or anything like that. They're Harley badged anyway, and they feel good, really good. They're not grabby, they're not juddery, they're not squidgy. They just get the job done, which on a beast of this weight is what you need. Now you'll see this as we get into the Nationals and they're opening her up. Just listen to this engine. That is when this bike comes alive. Nationals! This bike genuinely is nothing until you open up the throttle, and then it comes alive. It just comes alive. It was a bit beige for me initially. I was thinking, oh, it's not really doing much, you know, it's a nice bike, but it's not really doing much. Open it up and just listen to that engine. Bearing in mind that's stock exhausts. I mean, you can literally lay this on its ear, folks. It's got incredible ground clearance. I genuinely thought I would be scraping the foot pegs all over the option. And I haven't scraped them yet. Now, the more observant of you have probably noticed, it does have a USB power supply there, just under this little sort of glove box type thing. So I got my phone powered off that. Not sure what you do in the wet though, because it's not particularly weatherproof. Just sat there. But then I think most Harley riders probably wouldn't bring their pride and joy like this out in the pea wet rain. I don't know. There's bound to be some hardy ones of you out there. Right, I love this section of road. Nationals coming up, check the mirrors, vision, let's wind it on. Just watch this bike in these bends. So again, just sat at speed limit. There's a dodgy crossroads up here. Let's just look for something. Nothing at the moment. Beautiful, power through. This thing just feels so planted. Oh, it's always traffic. Always. Oh, spoiling my right hander. So we're fairly hot into that bend. Just lean her over, keep the power on. 60 mile an hour, round she goes. Beautiful. Genuinely, folks, this is nice to ride in these roads. Seating position, it does take a little bit of getting used to. You know, with your feet right out to the front there. One thing that I have noticed I don't like is down here, that air filter, the pipe from the air filter, it just always connects to my right shin there. No matter how I try and move my feet, I just seem to always have that pipe pushing in. Maybe if you didn't have such long legs, you'd probably get away with it. So again, just sat at 60, lean her in, keep the power on. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Just fills you with confidence in the bends. That is awesome. I might go and do it again. Is that the rain? It is. That's the rain started. Oh. I need to go back this way anyway, folks. What is that? Now I have come down here on a sports bike, on a few sports bikes, considerably quicker than this in the bad old days. And I got a similar thrill at those real high speeds. I am sat at 60 miles an hour and I am loving it. I feel totally engaged with the ride. I feel well within the comfort zones of me and the bike. The bike isn't protesting in the slightest. It loves it. Just lean, get that power on. It sticks to the road and just takes you around. Very Goldwing-esque like that. Now this specific bike, this doesn't have the pillion seat, but you can have it with a pillion seat on the back, you can have it with the back boxes. Basically typical Harley, if you want it, they probably already do an extra for it. This bike is totally standard, the one that you would buy for just over £27,000, except for that, oh stay there, for that Guildford Custom Ohlins rear shock edition. I urge you, get that folks, get that. Makes all the difference, it really does. Takes it from being quite a stiff agricultural ride at times, quite jarring in places, to plush, beautiful, modern, gorgeous. Really surprised, to be honest. I didn't think this big bike would handle quite as plush as it now does. Stay there please, tractor, thank you. Excellent work, sir, thank you. Really enjoyed this today, really enjoyed it. Got to admit, when I rode this first this morning, I was thinking to myself, this will probably end up being a fairly quick vid, and just jump on it, do my mileage, and that'll be me. But I'm genuinely enjoying this. I didn't think this would be the type of bike I would want to take away on a trip, but you know, I'll be tempted. I'd add it to that sort of ever-expanding list I have. Be interesting to see what this would be like coming in hot to some mountain twists. You're hard on the brakes to get around. It's a big, heavy, stiff chassis. These bikes aren't designed to do that. I just wonder. Oh, it's awesome. It really is a joy to corner on. It just makes you want to turn in really quite late, just so you tip around and get round. It's lovely. So what do you think, folks? Have you ridden one of these? Do you own one of them? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Good work. If there are any other bikes out there that you'd like to see me take for a review, let me know in the comments, folks. I've sort of gone through a phase of shying away from the bike reviews, to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't want to be that channel. But I've got to tell you, as I have said on the podcast many times, bike reviews are the key if you want to grow the channel. Got a lot of big trips as well, but let's get the reviews back. So if there's any that you'd like me to take out, let me know. Right, I'm feeling the need for a little bit of hooliganism, which is not going to be fit for YouTube. So folks, if you fancy finding out a little bit more about the Street Glide, I've done a couple of vid reviews on them a few years ago. The model essentially hasn't changed that much to this one on the 2022, so make sure you check that one out up there. In the meantime, folks, keep doing your thing, look after those that you love, but most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha! Solids? What solids? Oh,